Welcome to the Ohio Home Inspector Network podcast. I'm your host, James Jones, and today we have the privilege of speaking with Mike Bernhardt. Mike, can you introduce yourself to the inspectors here in the audience on the podcast?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Mike Bernhardt. I own Armor Mortgage. Been in the mortgage industry now for 24 years, so we've seen some ups and downs and changes. Married to a lovely Mrs. Bernhardt. We have a 22-year-old son. He's actually just moved out of the home and learning how to live on his own recently. So we're technically empty nesters with our three pups. Live in the Northeast Ohio area my whole life, so definitely familiar with this area. Recently in the last 3 years, though, have kind of taken it to the next level. Opened up Armor Mortgage. And we're doing very, very well. We're navigating this real estate market better than can be expected. So I'm pretty happy to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, Mike. I have some questions here. I just really have some information we need to give to our audience and just be more informative about things that are going on. One thing that I have is, how do you see the current interest rates influencing the behavior of home inspection market in Ohio here? Next year, we have the elections coming up. Everybody's really nervous about how they foresee their home ownership future. What do you foresee in the coming year?
So right at this moment, I think everything's going to be on a standstill until this election's over. This is, at least in my career, probably one of the more pivotal elections that we've had to go through with this market. I think we're within 30 days so far, so we're not going to see a lot happen from now until then. After the election, after everybody realizes the world's not going to end and we get back to normal, right? It's expected that the rates are going to come down. So rates continue to come down. We saw a little bit of a drop here recently, and those rates are expected to finally keep inching down into 2025. The outlook says if we see interest rates drop by a full percentage point, that will actually drive 5 million new buyers into the market. That's a big number, 5 million new buyers if interest rates drop by a full percent. So for home inspectors, right, get ready. 5 million new buyers equals a lot more home sales, a lot more transactions, and the need for a lot more home inspections for sure.
One issue that we run across when we're in the middle of that robust market, especially in the busy season, is when home inspections do ramp up, we start to run into environmental issues during these property inspections, especially, it's April, it's March, it's a rainy season. You run across mold, you run across other different types of environmental issues when you're conducting an inspection. And what'll happen is we'll turn to the customer or our buyer or even maybe the seller if it's pre-list and say, hey, you might want to have this inspected or looked at, or maybe the inspector is an environmental tester as well, and he says, hey, we need to test this to see what species of mold it is or what have you. Appraisers, what I found is later on in a transaction can possibly halt that same transaction, and we'll get a call from the realtor. They're frantic at that point. And they're saying to us, hey, we need you out here immediately, when we could have addressed that in a normal, more efficient business matter earlier on in that transaction. How do you see that like derailing a transaction? I mean, there's obviously a timeline in a transaction. So how do we see that all fitting in those pieces? What's driving that now? What is that? Is that something from the actual lender that's pushing that? And then the other part of that particular question there's been a trend where mortgage companies or the lender wants to see the inspection report. So how does that play in that part? I mean, things seem to be changing for real estate as far as how individuals do their due diligence. Can you speak more to that?
Yeah, and it starts with, this is something that's happened, it's happening a lot more recently within the last year or two. And it first starts with, I think as a buyer or a real estate agent, letting your home inspector know what type of a loan that the buyer is going to get. You have two basic loans. You have a conventional loan, you have a government loan. Government loans are FHA, VA, and USDA. So two different types of loans. And in the past, it's been thought that if you have a conventional loan, you have conventional financing, you're never going to get asked for anything by the appraiser. You're never going to get asked for inspections. You're never going to, they're not going to ask or question something they might see wrong with the property, and that's not the case anymore. It never has been the case, but it's definitely not the case as much anymore. So the two things that you have to be careful for, that we see the most on a conventional appraiser, is health and safety issues and anything regarding mold or moisture or mold. So health and safety, I've got a quick example. Home got rehabbed, had an old deck out back. They ripped out the deck because it was too bad when they did the renovation, but they never put a new deck in. So we had this beautiful updated home. We had a beautiful, nice new sliding door that just dropped 4 or 5 feet out into the backyard. Didn't have any stairs, didn't have a new deck. Well, the real estate agents and buyers thought that was fine. On the home inspection, it said, hey, this is a safety issue. You open this slider door and a child falls 4 feet down, that's a problem. They can get hurt. And because they thought this was a conventional loan, they thought conventional appraisers weren't going to hit us for anything. The conventional appraiser is still looking out for the health and safety of the buyer, right? So you can't have a 4-foot drop out of the back of a back door or without, either stairs or something there, right? So that's a real recent example where people were calling me shocked. Why did this conventional appraiser ask for a repair? And it's because it's a safety issue. You can't have a big drop out of the back of a house out of a door. You have to have some safety there. So, and the home inspector called it. I mean, the home inspector put it in the report. This is a safety issue. If the buyers and agents would have maybe taken the advice of the inspector, we wouldn't have been trying to race at the last minute to build some stairs there to get the deal done, right? The other one is moisture. And this is definitely something that's been getting brought up by appraisers more often, and it's when you go into a basement. If you have standing water in a basement, it's going to be a problem, even on a conventional loan. Now, to kind of answer that second question about asking for the inspections. So if an appraiser goes out and sees standing water in a basement or major moisture, they're going to say, hey, we need to figure out where this moisture is coming from. Does it need to be remediated or not? It could be something as simple as it's a house that has gutters that are filled, and water is just coming out over the gutters and coming down. Clean the gutters and the problem solved. Simple, right? It could be that the hot water tank is leaking. Fix the hot water tank, water goes away. Real easy, quick problem. But it could be a structural problem. It could be actual cracks in this foundation, moisture coming in from the basement floors. Those are major things. So an appraiser, even on a conventional loan, could very well ask for an additional inspection for something like that. And in almost every single case, that's already addressed in your home inspection. So I think a lot of buyers and real estate agents need to maybe pay more attention to what the home inspector is advising them. Say, hey, you have moisture, here's the problem. Now what a lender will do is call the buyer and say, hey, do you have a home inspection? Did the home inspector note anything regarding this problem? And then we will ask for a copy of that, just that part usually of the home inspection, to see if we can get clarification from that inspection to just explain, hey, it's the gutters. Hey, it was a hot water tank leaking. They fixed it. Or we might have a problem. We might have to get further inspections from maybe a foundation specialist or something like that to get that fixed. Government loans, though, and I think most real estate professionals know, government loans are going to ask or ask for more inspections or ask for repairs on a much higher basis than conventional. It's just part of the guidelines for those types of loans. They're a lot more strict. So when you get your home inspection back, it's a good idea to listen to that home inspector, go through that, and see if there are any common government loan repairs ahead of time and know that, hey, you're either going to have to get those fixed or maybe be proactive and fix them ahead of time. That way you're not doing the fire drill at the end.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we're a part of a lot of different organizations, yourself and me, and there's some mortgage organizations that we, get some newsletters from, and also the radon proficiency organization has sent out some notifications as well, and I believe it still may be, I guess, in legislation, or they're trying to work the kinks out of it. But they're saying that Freddie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to make radon testing mandatory, or maybe a part of the loan process. Can you speak to that at all? Is that just multifamily, or are they looking to do that on single family homes as well? I mean, I've seen some different language, and I guess it's just in maybe like a preliminary stage or some thought process of where they're just kicking it around. But is this something we should be looking for in 2025, 2026? What are you hearing in the mortgage industry?
Yeah, we have to keep it on our radar. So as of right now, from what I've read, it is just regarding multifamily, so 2 units and more. Fannie and Freddie are in the process of making it required to have radon testing. And I think the idea behind that is most multi-unit properties are rental properties, and for the safety of tenants, Fannie and Freddie want to make sure that radon testing gets done. Now, us in Ohio, we're used to radon, especially Northern Ohio. I mean, Northern Ohio is known for radon. I would say probably at least 1 out of every 4 or 5 radon inspections that I know of that get done on my transactions come back, and the radon's a little high. It's not going to kill you if you walk downstairs high, but it's still high enough to where you'd want to get the mitigation done. So, but yeah, so far, it hasn't gone through completely, but it is in the process of being done at this point just for multi-units, so something that would end up being a rental property of some type.
Well, Brian, I really appreciate having you on the network. I'm glad that we were able to get some of these questions out. Inspectors are always wondering why different scenarios occur. Hopefully we can along the way educate, and buyers are always wondering what advice they should take. Realtors are always looking for experts to guide them and provide information that is current and accurate. So we appreciate you coming on and helping us in the areas and providing your expertise.
Hey, anytime, I appreciate it.